Baseball on Comcast Sportsnet, part of the NBC Sports Group.
We have ourselves another picture-perfect afternoon here on the north side of Chicago as we get you set for Chicago Cubs baseball on Comcast Sportsnet. Game 2 of a 4-game wraparound weekend series. It's the Pirates and Cubs here on CSN. Hi again, everyone. Bob Brenly and Len Casper with you. The Cubs are rolling. They're playing their best baseball maybe of the season. A 7-4 win yesterday, and Starlin Castro probably won't hit 300, but he's back on his way toward that.
Yeah, it seems like when Starlin Castro hits, the Cubs win. It's been a nice run for Starlin on that last road trip. He really handled himself well. And we forget about the contract negotiations, the long extension that he signed. It had to be on his mind a little bit, but he has been rolling since they got that wrapped up.
We've said this a lot before this season. A Cubs debut today. It'll be right-hander Jason BERKEN, a Wisconsin native, to make the start.
He's going to have a lot of friends and family in the stands today. Hopefully it won't affect his nerves out there on the mound. You see his numbers in his major league career as a member of the Baltimore Orioles. Really relies a lot on his secondary stuff.
Wandy Rodriguez has pitched here before. His 13th career start at Wrigley, the 22nd of his career against the Cubs.
He's been on a nice roll lately, giving up 3 runs in his last 3 starts.
And the Pirates need a win, to say the least. They've lost 7 in a row, but they're still just 3 games back in the wild card. Yesterday it was all Cubs, led by Starlin Castro and that big 3-run homer to put the game out of reach. Carlos Marmol with another save as he got a big double play to end it. Pirates and Cubs in Game 2 next.
Is brought to you in part by your Chicago area and Northwest Indiana Lexus dealer, who invites you to test drive a Lexus today. Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois. Through it all. Liberty Mutual Insurance. Responsibility. What's your policy? Toyota. Right now you can get a lot for less at your local Toyota dealer, official partner of the Chicago Cubs. The new wireless receiver from AT&T Ubers. Visit att.com/freeyourtv. Rethink possible. BMO Harris Bank. Helping money make sense. BMO Harris Bank. NA member FDIC. And by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com.
Back here at beautiful Wrigley Field. Again, you could not dial up the weather any better as the Cubs take the field behind right-hander Jason BERKEN as he pitches in Jeff Samardz's spot. Now the Pirates fading, but not out of the wild card race. They're still just 3 games back of the Cardinals. A bunch of other teams, though, have joined that race. More on that coming up. They've scored 18 runs over their last 7 games, and now they're Southwest Starting lineup, Starling, Marte in left. Travis Snider back in the lineup, dealing with little hamstring issues lately. McCutchen homered yesterday. Garrett Jones is going to play first. Neil Walker's first start in a while. Pedro Alvarez over at third. Clint Barmes the shortstop. Rod Barajas the catcher. And sometimes switch hitting Wandy Rodriguez batting ninth.
And here's how the Cubs will line it up defensively this afternoon. Alfonso Soriano, Joe Mather, and Dave Sapelt left to right across the outfield. Josh Vitters at third. Starlin Castro at shortstop. Darwin Barney at second base. Anthony Rizzo over at first. Wellington Castillo doing the catching today for right-hander Jason Berken. Our Alexis pursuing perfection starting pitcher. You see his numbers at AAA Norfolk this year in 26 games, 5-6 record with an ERA of an even 3.5. Zinker, slider, changeup. I talked to pitching coach Chris Bosio before the game, and even though he is still learning Jason Berken, he feels like the key to his success today is going to be his ability to throw his slider and changeup for strikes, especially in hitters' counts.
Kentucky native Sam Holbrook gets the plate. Rob Drake at first. The crew chief Joe West at second. Mike Muchlinski over at third. Berken's previous big league time all with the Baltimore Orioles, including one rough outing in relief earlier this season.
Big key for Jason Berken, especially in the early going today, is to continue to breathe. Sometimes when you're under great stress and have some anxiety out there on the mound or in the batter's box, you forget to breathe regularly, and it causes a lot of stress, a lot of tension in your muscles, and especially that muscle between your ears. Hopefully he'll be able to breathe, relax, and just do what it is he can do to work his way through this Pirates lineup.
The left fielder Starling Marte to lead it off. And the sinker is low for ball one. Marte hasn't done much since coming off the DL a little over a week ago. 2 for 17. Swings and misses with that fastball. Wind blowing in off the lake. 10 miles an hour out of the east. 71 degrees. Jason Berken went to high school in De Pere, Wisconsin. You know where De Pere is?
No.
It's near De Lake. It's well, you call it a suburb, I guess, of Green Bay.
Okay.
Even though Green Bay is not a huge city. Yeah, he's from Packer territory, and he is a season ticket holder. In fact, he has tickets on the 50-yard line at Lambeau Field.
They're not making it easy for Cub fans to like this guy.
Tickets have been in the family since the late 60s, and yeah, they're right on the 50.
Wow.
Highly coveted, to say the least. He did not attend the game Thursday night. 6th round pick of the Orioles. He went to Clemson, and one of his teammates was Tyler Colvin, the former Cub. And he hits Marte on a 2-2 pitch. I mentioned it yesterday. Bought about 30 tickets for family and friends coming in from Green Bay, and he told them all, don't wear your Packer gear, wear your Cubs gear. It's a Cubs game.
That's that slider that just never took the break, stayed off the plate inside, and clips Marte on the back of the left arm.
Just a glorious mid-September afternoon. Travis Snider playing right. Missed a few games with right hamstring discomfort. 0 for 4 as a pinch hitter since, as Castillo throws that one away. They scatter in the bullpen, and Marte's going to make it all the way to third.
Well, we know Wellington Castillo likes to pick on the bases, especially when you've got the cover of a left-handed batter at the plate, but that time just got rid of it way too quickly. That ball never got into fair territory.
So Bitters in at third, everybody else back. The error on the catcher Castillo, and SNIDER fouls it off. You kind of feel like, and I'm sure Clint Hurdle is very impatiently waiting for his team to have a bust-out performance offensively. Again, they've scored just 18 runs during this 7-game losing streak. The Cubs hope that the Pirates don't bust out with the bats until at least next Tuesday. Swing and a miss. Got him on a change for the first out.
Nice pitch. Started on the outside corner with some good tailing movement. You see that unusual grip involving the middle and ring finger.
That's exactly the kind of swing you want to get on that pitch. Just flailing and missing. McCutchen, who homered yesterday, went 1 for 4, and he takes it low.
Yeah, the idea of that changeup is to make the hitter believe it's a fastball, and you start your swing as a hitter believing it's a fastball, and then when the ball gets about halfway to home plate, you realize it's not a fastball, and you try to slow down and extend your swing and get awkward cuts like we saw from Travis Snider.
Sinker inside, 2-0. Big time MVP candidate, Andrew McCutchen. I think you picked him, right?
Yes, I did.
Said probably. Apparently I have commitment issues. Said Buster Posey I would still leave the door open for the Giants catcher, but McCutchen certainly making a great case, and I think the final record of his team will have an effect on that voting.
Well, in an effort to try to learn a little more about Jason Berken, I mentioned I talked to Chris Bosio and asked if there was anything unusual that we should know about. And there was one thing. You may notice, depending on whether he's facing a right-handed hitter or a left-handed hitter, he works on different sides of the rubber. With a right-handed hitter at the plate, he'll work from the exaggerated far first base side of that rubber, just toe barely making contact. And against the lefty Travis Snider, the second hitter in this Buccos lineup, he was way over on the third base side of the rubber, trying to create a better angle in his mind for the pitches that he wants to throw.
Back over toward the third base side now with lefty Garrett Jones at the plate. Time had been called before that throw to first. So for those of you at home keeping track of the throws to first, don't count that one. Called strike.
Well, we laugh about it, but somewhere in this ballpark, somebody did make a notation on that pick throw to first and then had to delete it.
One did count as McCutchen back easily. Threatening here without a hit batter, an error, and a walk. They have him at first and third with 1 out. Talked about the Pirates wild card situation again. They lost 12 of their last 16, and they technically haven't lost any ground on the wild card leader, at least that second wild card team. They're still 3 back of the Cardinals However, they're 2 behind the Dodgers. They're tied with the Phillies. They're a half game ahead of the Brewers. And it gets a lot more difficult this late in the season when you have multiple targets in terms of the standings. But I would also say I'm sure Clint Hurdle isn't worried about the standings at all. He just wants his team to put together a complete ball game. If they don't win today, they're going to drop to 500 on the season. They were 16 over on August 8th. Jones hits a fly ball to deep left. Soriano on the warning track makes a catch. Marte tags and scores. Jones gets a sacrifice fly, and it's 1-0.
Right now, Jason Berken and the Cubs in full damage control mode. And the trouble that he's been in here in the first inning, now a possibility to get out of it with only 1 run scored.
Brings up Neil Walker, a pinch hit yesterday and struck out in his first action in over 2 weeks. This will be his first start in the Pirates' last 17 games, dealing with low back tightness. Career .339 hitter with 5 homers in 16 games at Wrigley. You know, when Jeff Samardzija was shut down, you looked at a rotation that was almost completely unproven, to say the least. But the Cubs starters, Bob, during this nice stretch of 6 of 7, have a 1.48 earned run average.
You'll take that regardless of the names. Take those numbers.
Called strike.
BMO Harris pitch tracks. Good sinker right at the bottom of the knees. Outside corner of the plate. That's that unhittable strike. You can't take it, but you can't do anything with it as a hitter. Tries to expand in that area just a little bit further. See if he could get Neil Walker to chase one on the edge of the zone. Once again today, the sun's going to be a factor in the early part of the game for the guys on the left side of the infield, especially third baseman Josh Vitters, left fielder Alfonso Soriano, and also Starlin Castro, depending on where he's positioned on the left side of the infield.
Barney will pick it up, and he gets his counterpart Neil Walker. The Pirates get on the board without a hit. of a hit. Let's see how the Cubs do against lefty Wandy Rodriguez, their Southwest starting lineup. We have a little technical issue here, but I will give you the lineup nonetheless. Joe Mather will lead it off. Darwin, Barney, Anthony Rizzo, Soriano will clean up. Starlin, Castro at short. Wellington, Castillo, the catcher. Josh Bitters at third. Dave Sapelt had a big series in Houston will hit right 8th. And Jason Berken, the pitcher, will bat 9th.
And here's how the Buccos will line it up defensively this afternoon. Starling, Marte, Andrew McCutchen, and Travis Snider left to right across the outfield. It'll be Pedro, Alvarez, Clint, BARMES, Neil Walker, and Garrett Jones. Third to first across the infield. Veteran Rod Barajas behind the plate today for left-hander Wandy Rodriguez. Boy, have the Cubs seen a boatload of Wandy Rodriguez in his days as a member of the Houston Astros. Now still in the division with the Pittsburgh Pirates. You see his assortment of pitches. That curveball is working. That's when he's at his best.
Called strike on Joe Mather. The third start for Joe in center. 1-1.
Vincent Rodriguez had only given up 3 runs in his last 3 starts. Those all came his last time out against the Reds. He left the ball game with a 3-1 lead, but the bullpen gave it up in extra innings. The other 2 games against the Houston Astros and the St. Louis Cardinals, 6 innings of shutout baseball and 7 innings of shutout baseball.
Cubs now facing a left-handed starter for the 4th time in their last 5 games. And Snider comes in to make the catch.
Hey fans, tomorrow is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Day right here at Wrigley Field. Don't miss the action as the Cubs battle the Pirates at 1:20. The first 10,000 fans will receive Cubs silicone wristbands, and lucky seat winners will receive Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle figurines, compliments of Nickelodeon. For more information and to purchase tickets, visit Cubs.com. Teenage Mutant Ninja
Turtles.
It's a mouthful.
Yes. Darwin Barney with a career high 9-game hitting streak. 2 for 2 yesterday. A walk, a double, a sac bunt, and a run. He's hitting .311 at home. Keeping tabs on his National League record errorless streak at second base, trying to get it to 130 in a row. He's gone over 1,040 consecutive innings since his only error at second base, which was April 17th in Miami. He has committed an error, by the way, during this streak. You might say, well, then how's that possible? Well, he was playing shortstop. Off the plate inside. Rodriguez came over as part of a 4-player deal on July 24th. 3 minor leaguers went to the Astros. Full count, 3-2. Snider again.
Well, it's easy to look at a guy like Wandy Rodriguez, especially when he has his good curve and changeup working, and say, oh, just another crafty lefty. But Wandy can throw that fastball 92, 93, maybe 94 with a little breeze behind him. He's sneaky quick with that heater. He'll cut it in on the hands of the righties. But as I mentioned earlier, when he's commanding his curveball and spotting his changeup, that's when he's at his best.
Anthony Rizzo swings and misses. For 4 with a 2-run double in game 1. Since Rodriguez made his big league debut with Houston back in 2005, there isn't one left-hander in the National League who's thrown more innings than he has. 1,360 and a third going into action today as he strikes out Rizzo. So he gets the unearned run in support in the top of the first and goes 1-2-3 in the bottom. High-speed action. Well, we saw Albert Almora take some BP yesterday. Today, 20-year-old outfielder Jorge Soler, and he deposited a few onto Waveland Avenue. 20 years old, from Cuba, 6'3", 205 pounds. Hit .338 in 20 games at Peoria. He's got a quick, very powerful swing.
I'm trying to figure out his physique and talking with a number of guys around the batting cage today who he most looks like. Andre Dawson's name came up. Vladimir Guerrero, a young Vladdy Guerrero. Real strong base, strong quadriceps and hamstrings muscle. Very small waist. Shoulders that figure to just continue to get bigger as he gets older. He's quite a specimen.
Signed a 9-year, $30 million contract earlier this year. So Soler and Almora will report to Mesa for instructional league. I believe it starts tomorrow. Berken with an 0-1 to Alvarez. It's inside. The Pirates got an unearned tally in the first because of a throwing error by the catcher Castillo. It's been a while since he's faced an opposing team. August 30th versus Durham when he was pitching for Norfolk in AAA. That one rolled through the left side for a leadoff single. So I think Dale would be fine if Berken can get through 5 innings today. And anything more than that would be gravy. Shortstop Clint Barmes, he's hitting 7th.
Clint Hurdle, as we mentioned in yesterday's ball game and on that last road trip, he doesn't like to push a lot of buttons, but this would seem to be a pretty good hit and run combination. Clint Barmes has always handled the bat pretty well. Alvarez, about an average runner over there at first base, but for me, a hit and run is more about the guy at the plate and your trust that he can put the bat on the ball and put the bat on the ball on the ground and possibly take advantage of a broken up infield defense.
There he goes, and it is a hit and run. And with Barney going over to cover, he can't field the ball. BARMES, I'm sure, thankful they had the hit and run on. Otherwise, that's a 4-3 ground out. First and third, nobody out.
Executed exactly the way a hit and run is supposed to. Alvarez breaks late to make sure he can't get picked off over there at first base. Once he does break for second, that draws DARWIN Barney to the bag to take the throw, and CLINT BARMES with a drastic inside out swing. It's a 99 hopper through that right side to put runners at first and third.
Now the veteran Barajas making his 89th start behind the plate. He hit .302 in May, but he's hit under 200 in the other 5 months of this season. One thing Jason BERKEN will learn, and hopefully a good lesson here in this inning. You move over from the American League to the National League. If you can get Barajas here without that run scoring, you've got a fighting chance to get out of it with no damage, because the pitcher is on deck. It's not going to happen, however. Deep to left, off the wall, just below the basket. Alvarez scores, and Barajas with a long single. 2-0 Pirates.
A break for the Cubs there. That ball looked like it was headed for the bleachers. A slider that didn't break, up and out over the plate. That's really Barajas' value, other than being a solid defensive catcher, is every now and again he'll lean into one, and that time narrowly missed a home run to left field. Great play by Soriano to field the carom and fire to second base, holding Barajas to a long single. Expect Wandy to put down a sac bunt here to at least attempt to move Barajas into scoring position, and if it happens to be a perfect bunt and BARMES feels he could score, it would turn into a safety squeeze. More like a strategy meeting than a confidence booster. Darwin Barney obviously had something on his mind about the way the Cubs were going to attempt to field this bunt.
Good job by Rodriguez. BARMES holding at third. Barajas moves up to second.
Qdoba Mexican Grill, the official Mexican grill of the Cubs and Wrigley Field, would like to give you free chips and queso just for opting into their mobile club. Text Q1 to 50500 and you'll enjoy Qdoba's famous chips and queso.
I mentioned Rodriguez sometimes switch hits. That was his 11th plate appearance as a righty versus a righty. He's had 40 as a left-handed batter against righties. 13 plate appearances as a righty versus a lefty. Well, there you have it. The only thing he hasn't done this year is bat left-handed against the lefty, which would lead me to believe maybe in bunting spots against a righty he decides to bat right-handed. We'll keep an eye on it. Maybe it's just how he feels that day.
Today I feel like a lefty.
Infield in against Marte with runners at second and third. Knocked down by Bitters. The ball goes right to Castro. It'll go 5 to 6 to 3, and the runners have to hold again. What was the Ron Santo adage about playing third?
All you need to be a good third baseman is a strong chest and a strong arm. Well, Vitters has the chest part. Castro with the arm, firing across in plenty of time to get Marte at first base. Team effort.
Berken's going to get out of it with only 1 run allowed. Could have been a lot worse. 2-0 Pirates early.
Down because of the hand-eye coordination that he has. You know, those things, I think that kind of stuff could happen a lot more often without all the leg kick, because he has, you know, another little, you know, hand gesture in there too that causes some you know, inconsistencies. You know, like I said, it's just a matter of trying to get to another level. You know, he's obviously at one level. We want to get a 22-year-old kid at a whole nother level.
So normally on the left, that's the big leg kick for Starlin, but he admitted he didn't want to use it against the power sinker of Jared Hughes yesterday. He just kind of sets his foot down and cranks it.
Much more compact swing. He can wait a little bit longer, identify the pitch a little bit better, and with his kind of hand-eye coordination, if you can calm down some of those things, as Dale said, he's more likely going to start hitting more home runs.
Popped into right. Snider playing deep. Long run. Diving catch by Travis Snider.
Snider fooled a little bit off the bat, and then that wind blowing in from right field continued to knock that ball down. Maybe a little bit of an unnecessary dive, but he makes the catch nonetheless.
Andrew McCutchen has been staring at his teammate for about the last 30 seconds. I think trying to get a rise out of him.
Oh, yeah. Teammates know when you need to dive and when maybe you do it for the highlight reel. I think that was a little unnecessary, but able to hang on and make the play nonetheless.
I guess when you make a catch like that, don't look at your teammates. Here's Castro. We'll see what he does here with a leg kick.
Kind of a
not
middle
as
ground.
drastic.
Yeah, not as high of a leg kick, but not the toe tap keeping his foot on the ground that we saw yesterday.
It was brought up to Dale in his session with the media. The counter to these questions about adjustments. He had a 200-hit season last year. Dale had a good answer for that. He said, we're not, I think the term he used, we're not chasing hits. I like the way he said it. He doesn't want Starlin to chase hits. He wants him to get to another level, start driving the ball, which he has done this year. And I think we've learned over the first 2+ years of his major league career, without a particularly keen sense of his strike zone, he's piled up a lot of hits. Just imagine when he hones in on what that strike zone should be, and only the pitches he can hit hard. I mean, Dale's a hitting coach at heart. We know that. And he'll take the bloop hit as a manager all day long. But if Starlin has 3 bloop hits today, I don't think Dale will look back as a hitting coach and say that was a good day. He wants him to drive the ball.
Hitting coaches are funny that way. As odd as it sounds, especially at the developmental levels down in the minor leagues and in the Arizona Fall League and Instructional League, hitting coaches would rather see 4 line drive outs than a couple of bloop hits and a ground ball that rolls through the infield. They want to see you get the barrel on the ball. They want to see balance. They want to see pitch recognition and a quick swing, quick bat through the zone. Obviously, as you said, at the big league level, the hits are just fine. You don't mind those. But at the end of the day, what kind of hits were they? And can we make this guy a better hitter in the long run? I think there's still room for improvement for Starlin Castro.
Well, there's a good sign right there, taking ball 4.
New in 2012 is Cubs Authentics, the premier outlet for special MLB authenticated Cubs memorabilia. From game used Cubs baseballs, Cubs bases, and Cubs jerseys to autographed Cubs bats and Cubs photos, Cubs Authentics has the most exclusive Cubs memorabilia. Visit the Wrigley Field Concourse, the Cubs store, or email cubsauthentic@cubs.com for all your Cubs memorabilia needs.
Curveball for a strike. Rodriguez from the stretch for the first time. And that's going to drop in front of McCutchen. He's now on the hit board.
Castillo got it out toward the end of the bat a little bit, but a nice trajectory off the bat kind of froze McCutchen briefly in his tracks, and by the time he recovers, he can't get there in time to make the catch. Cubs have it cooking here.
Bob, I haven't talked to Dale or the staff about what they'd like Wellington Castillo to do in the offseason and going into spring training next year. But if I just had to make a guess, it would be that Castillo spends 80% of his time with Jamie Quirk and Mike Borzello, and maybe 20% of his time with the hitting coach. He can hit. And that is going to be a double play as Clint Barmes able to elude the sliding Castillo, and they turn it to end the inning. Final time this season. Our coverage begins at 6:30 with Subaru Cubs pregame live. Cubs and Pirates Monday night at 6:30 on Comcast Sportsnet. Fans' best friend. Enjoying a beautiful weekend here in Chicago. Cubs won yesterday 7-4. They trailed 2-0. Here today is McCutchen, Jones, and Walker are due up against Jason BERKEN. McCutchen walked in the first. BERKEN, the 53rd player used by the Cubs this season. That's a franchise record. Previous mark was 51 for the 2000 Cubs. He's the 12th starting pitcher, third most in the National League. Cubs got him on waivers from Baltimore on September 7th. And his 0-2 to McCutchen. Low and inside, 1-2.
Well, you know it's going to be the case every year, Len. You're going to need a lot more than the 25 guys you break spring training with. And this season, for obvious reasons, the Cubs have had to dip into the minor leagues and the waiver wire a lot more than they ever have in the past. But not unusual for any ball club to use 35, 40, 45, 50 players over the course of a season. It just happens.
Been in on a breaking ball that didn't break. That is the curveball that he's hasn't been using much. Did not use it as a reliever. Changeup's hammered out of here. Not where BERKEN wanted it, exactly where McCutchen did for his 28th. If we had to show you the changeup you want to throw, it was the first inning one against SNIDER. This is where you young pitchers don't want to throw onto a good hitter.
All right. I'll tell you, off-speed pitches from the middle of the plate in and down. Yeah, we saw SNIDER get fooled by a pitch fading away from him out of the zone. That one was coming right into the barrel of Andrew McCutchen's bat.
Jones pops into center. Mather now coming in. Makes a catch. Another discussion Dale had with the media was about the young pitchers' ability to pitch to the scouting report. And the Cubs really have prided themselves this season on their advanced scouting, their quantitative analysis. You know, this guy does this sort of damage on certain pitches. And he said, you know, if an opposing batter in a lineup is 0 for 33 on curveballs, throw curveballs. And it's been an issue at times when he said the human factor kind of interrupts the plan, and pitchers start shaking off and throwing other things. And I think part of it for some guys, and he talked in particular about the lefties Russin and Raley really needing to work on their breaking balls, spinning the ball a little bit more. And if the scouting report says, again, you need to throw breaking balls, if you don't have a good breaking ball, I can see how a pitcher would be reluctant to throw that pitch a lot. But what the Cubs are saying is, we still want you to throw it. And in the case of the two lefties, Dale really wants them to develop those pitches. They're going to have to do that to be successful here.
There's what we're talking about with the Jason BERKEN changeup. Look at the movement on this pitch, the location where it started, right on the outside corner at the knees, fading out of the zone. That one starts over the outer third of the plate and tails right into Andrew McCutchen's happy zone. Real good low ball hitter.
Swing and a miss, 3-2.
Yeah, and ideally, you talk about the young left-handed pitchers. They develop enough confidence in their breaking pitches that they will end up pitching to the scouting report with confidence.
Swing and a miss. 2 down.
Hey, come watch the Cubs as they battle the Reds this upcoming Tuesday night here at Wrigley Field. Game time is 7:05, but be sure to arrive early. The first 10,000 fans will receive a Cubs Stretch to Fit book cover, compliments of Pepsi. For more information and to purchase tickets, visit Cubs.com.
Inside to Alvarez.
Not saying this is necessarily the case with Raley and Russin, but throughout baseball history, there have been countless pitchers who worked their way through the minor leagues with just a really good fastball. They could command it on both sides of the plate. They could elevate when they wanted to. You get to the major leagues, you can count on one hand in the history of this game the number of guys that could pitch with nothing but a fastball and be effective.
Mather over into left center to end the inning. McCutchen led off the frame with his second homer of the series. 3-0 Pirates.
Roland Keller presented the Edward Jones Player of the Month Award to David DeJesus for his outstanding play in the month of August. Edward Jones making sense of investing.
Pirates with a run in each of the first 3 innings. Cubs facing one of their best starters, Wandy Rodriguez. Dave Chappelle takes a strike. Big series in Houston. The one base running gap, but I think he made up for that with his offensive production. 7 for his last 13.
And not just getting hits, he's been driving the ball, banging a couple off the wall down in Houston, line drives all over the field.
And a base hit. Put BERKEN in a bunting spot. His first Cub plate appearance.
Hard ground ball through that left side for Dave Sapelt. Past a diving Clint Barmes. Good start to the inning here. I'm wondering what Jason Berken was hoping for in his first at bat here with the Cubs. Hoping for a bunt situation. I have to believe he hasn't had a lot of experience putting down sacrifice bunts.
This is only his second career major league plate appearance. Struck out at Florida on June 24th, 2009.
Would you feel more comfortable going to the plate with maybe one out, nobody on base, an opportunity to just swing away?
Well, I guess two ways to look at it. You might think that laying down a sac bunt would be easier than getting a hit if you're a pitcher, but there are expectations in this spot.
Ideally, he gets it down that first baseline. Keep it away from Rod Barajas behind the plate. A break right there. The big Wandy Rodriguez curveball looked like it was all over the strike zone. Might have even fooled home plate umpire Sam Holbrook right there at the knees.
Two and two. Paul Konerko with his 23rd homer of the year. The White Sox have an early 3-0 lead at Minnesota, and Adam Dunn back in the lineup. Right side muscle strain. He's been out for over a week. And he's going to kick foul. Good job by Barajas to let that spin take it foul. Don't miss the exciting opportunity to go behind the scenes of the legendary home of the Cubs with Wrigley Field Tours. Take a trolley to get to Wrigley Field for your tour, as Chicago Trolley Company is now providing transportation to Wrigley Field through their North Side Neighborhood Tour. Here's Mather, who flied to right his first time up. Boston and Toronto 1-1. They're in the bottom of the third. Another head-scratching quote from Red Sox manager Bobby Valentine. You get one, and that's it. So 2 outs in the inning. Valentine was asked before the game last night if they could use any call-ups in any particular area of the team, and he responded with, quote, "Are you kidding? This is the weakest roster we've ever had in September in the history of baseball. It could use help everywhere." Oh boy.
One way to translate that would be, don't blame me.
Those kinds of comments are not rare in this business. Publicly, very rare. I've never heard a manager say it quite like that. Have you? The weakest roster in September in the we've had in the history of baseball. Wow.
Well, I mean, whether it was intended to be a direct slap at the general manager and the front office staff of the Boston Red Sox, it certainly comes off that way. Hey, I'm just the field manager. I work with what they give me, and this is the worst roster ever.
And there are two sides to this. Whether he's right or not about what he said is almost irrelevant in some ways, because especially when you're the Red Sox manager and when you're Bobby Valentine, that quote is going to get around the clubhouse. Every player is going to read it.
Don't blame me.
0-2, fouled off.
Hey, if you want to wear what the Cubs are wearing, you can text BASES to 88019 right now for your chance to win an authentic game-worn jersey from the Cubs. And be sure to go to Cubs.com/authentics for more authentic Cubs memorabilia.
Interesting comments from Ozzie Guillen. These are not typical, inflammatory comments from Ozzie, but about September call-ups. I guess the Marlins have only called up 4 pitchers. Maybe it's 3. At any rate, they haven't called up a lot of guys. And his theory is you only come up if you deserve to be in the big leagues. He said if you're in a playoff race, I understand. Bring up as many guys as you can. You're fighting for something. I'd call up as many guys as possible. But in the Marlins situation, he just said, I want them to have to earn it. You shouldn't be in the big leagues in our situation if you don't earn your way. That's a base hit for Barney. 10-game hitting streak. Mather stops at second. What was your philosophy in Arizona on call-ups, depending on the season situation?
Well, I agree 100% that if you're in a pennant race, and we talked about this yesterday, if a guy has any one value to a ball club, hanging curveball from Rodriguez to Darwin Barney, he'll spank it through the right side or left side for a base hit. Yeah, if you have any value, if you're a superior defensive outfielder and you've got a guy that maybe is a liability in the outfield late in a close game, bring him up. If you've got a left-handed reliever at the minor league level or a starter at the minor league level who has really shown he can get left-handed hitters out, bring him up. Certainly there are contractual obligations and different ramifications, but the front office will address those issues. But if you're trying to get to the postseason, I think anybody that can help your club win a game, they should get an opportunity to come up and play at crunch time.
AT&T UVerse Multiview, best chance for the Cubs. Their number 3 hitter at the plate. It's a strike, 1-1. Yeah, I guess he has a 4-man bench, 16 pitchers. That's it. Go get him.
He's at a huge disadvantage when they play the Astros.
Mather takes off for third. He's safe. Barney did not run. Mather will get a steal. And that's a play. You better be 100% sure you can get in, and he was.
That's the 100% rule. Had a little bit of a moving lead. His momentum carrying him toward third base. Rodriguez a little bit slow with the high leg kick and delivery to home plate. That time Mather made it easily.
Hit. Cubs on the board. Mather's in. Barney around to third. Anthony Rizzo with his 37th RBI. 3-1.
Another breaking ball from Wandy Rodriguez. Stays right there in the middle of the plate for Anthony Rizzo. Got it off the end of the bat just a little bit, but he hangs in so well against left-handed pitching. Finds that hole in the right side. Cubs on the corners again.
There's Ray Searage, the pitching coach. I like the other thing Ozzie said. Can't get in a brawl. We're going to be outmanned. Soriano retired on a diving play in right by SNIDER's first time up. He's 4 for 39 with 1 home run against Rodriguez in his career. Action out on the rooftops on a sunny Saturday afternoon. Low and inside.
Oh, when two guys have faced each other as much as Soriano and Wandy Rodriguez have, it's obviously just down to execution. Wandy Rodriguez is well aware of the holes in Alfonso Soriano's swing. Knows how to get to those holes late in the count with 2 strikes. It's just a question of executing the pitches and not making mistakes. And for Soriano, he knows what Wandy Rodriguez features out there on the mound. He's seen plenty of it. And he just has to be ready to hit those mistakes.
Rodriguez 5'10", 195, 33 years old. Fly to center, McCutchen to end the inning. Cubs get a run on 3 hits. They trail 3-1 after 3.
Brought to you by the new Doritos Locos Tacos from Taco Bell.
Cubs trailing 3-1. Jason Berken will face the bottom of the Pirates' order. Really needs a quick 1-2-3 inning. Strike on BARMES. The Padres have been around since 1969. And up until this weekend, we've only had 1 statue erected in honor of a great Padre, Tony Gwynn. In fact, I think the ballpark's at like 1 Tony Gwynn Drive, something like that. Well, that's going to change tonight. Our good friend Jerry Coleman will be honored as the Padres will unveil a statue in his likeness. Only major league player to see combat in 2 wars. He's 88. Celebrated his 88th birthday 70 years in baseball, 40 with the Padres.
Wow.
39 as a broadcaster, 1 as the manager, 1980.
Oh, doctor.
A Marine pilot in World War II and later in Korea. American League Rookie of the Year, second baseman with the Yankees in 1949. An All-Star the following year, MVP of the World Series. He's done it all. Well deserved. Sharply hit ground ball to Vitters. Bad throw, however, and it bounces out of play. There's a bit of a troubling trend that we've seen here since he came up to the big leagues, Bob, and it's kind of the double step, right? There and then there. The longer guys wait, I think you're just asking for trouble.
Well, we've seen him make a lot more bad throws than good throws from third base. Some of them on routine plays, some of them on plays where he's had to hurry, but rarely makes a chest high throw across that diamond. That time Rizzo couldn't come up with a tough short hop.
So the Cubs' second two-base throwing error. And Barajas takes a pitch low. A good throw by Castillo back to Berken. He bounced it. Just feels like that extra step Vitters takes, he gives himself too much time to think. You notice the throws he's made to second or the plays where he's had to quickly get rid of it to first. Those have been his best throws. You talk about Ryan Zimmerman. He's got a little, obviously different mechanics. But I think Zimmerman prefers to throw on the move and have to actually set and get over the top. The ground Barmes thought about it, but he's going to head back to second. Barajas is thrown out. Let's get into our AT&T Mobility trivia. Who was the last Cub player with a 100 RBI season? Well, the two names that immediately come to mind: Aramis and D. Lee. Who did it last? I'm going to go with Aramis Ramirez without looking. Apparently I'm wrong.
Really? Enrique Wilson? You know, getting back to the Vitters and the double crow hop thing, Len, it's not unusual to see infielders do that, especially on a hard hit ball where you've got plenty of time. It gives your first baseman an extra step or two to get over to the bag. But you have to maintain a good athletic position. If you notice, when he took the first crow hop, his upper body was still a little bit bent over. His knees were flexed. He was in a good athletic position. But on the second crow hop, he ended almost perfectly upright. And that's not a good athletic position and not a good position to throw from.
Dennis Rodriguez hit left-handed there as he bounced out. Yeah, let's go back to this throw.
See, now he comes up, he's standing straight up, his legs are straight, everything is upright as he makes the throw across the diamond. If you stay in a more athletic position as you're making that second crow hop, I think you got a better chance of making an accurate throw. I mean, they call it an athletic position for a reason. That's how your body functions the best with the task that you're trying to complete. There's not too many things that you can do in the game of baseball where standing perfectly upright is the right position you should be in.
1-1 on Marte. Hit by a pitch to start the game, went to third on an errant pickoff throw by the catcher Castillo, and then scored on the sac fly from Garrett Jones. Runner at third, 2 outs. We're in the 4th. Jason Berken's Cub debut. That one out into the gap. And BARMES will easily score. Marte racing around second. On his way to third with a stand-up triple.
Well, unfortunately, we had a real good view of that one from up here. Our perch high above the stadium. Fastball outside part of the plate. Marte splits that gap in right center. We could see that ball tailing away from Joe Mather in center field, farther and farther. Nothing good going to come of that one. And with Starling Marte's speed, he turns it into an easy triple.
His third in the big leagues. And another unearned run for the Pirates. SNIDER fouls back. Kick in the 0-2. The dirt. Bad news for former Cub Ted Lilly. He will not make it back with a Dodger postseason run here. Going to have arthroscopic left shoulder surgery in 6 days. So it's a fairly minor procedure. I hope he's ready to start throwing again in January. That's a base hit for SNIDER. 5-1. Well, I said it earlier. You just were waiting for the Pirates offense to bust out of their doldrums. And it looks like today's the day. They've scored in every inning and have put up 2 here in the 5th, and or 4th rather. We'll see some action in the Cubs bullpen.
Rafael Dolis will begin to crank it up for the Cubs. Just a lot of pitches middle of the plate and up from Jason Berken. Very hittable pitches, whether it be the fastball, the slider. Threw some good changeups early, but even leaving that pitch up in the zone with regularity now.
Base hit into center for McCutchen. He's on for the 3rd time. Three straight 2-out hits. Here comes Chris Bosio. They want to see a Cubs game from the front row at Wrigley Field? Now you can. Visit Cubs.com and click on the CBOE front row seats auction to bid on tickets in the front row behind home plate and along the first base line. Front row seats will be auctioned off to every game all season long. Don't miss your chance. Go to Cubs.com. Check out the CBOE front row seats auction today.
Before we get back into action here, Len, real quickly, it's a couple of Jerry Coleman quotes on Baseball Almanac. He was a classic. And Kansas City's at Chicago tonight, or is it Chicago at Kansas City? Well, no matter, as Kansas City leads in the 8th 4-4.
There's a strike on Jones.
Talking about catcher Bruce Benedict. He may not be hurt as much as he really is. George Hendricks simply lost that sun-blown pop-up.
Is there one in there about the center fielder? Bangs against the wall. As that's going to deflect off the glove of Vitters into left. SNIDER scores. McCutchen to third on a double for Garrett Jones. 6-1.
Just off the glove of Josh Vitters. Kind of mistimed his jump a little bit, tipped off the webbing of the glove and just died out there in shallow left field.
The line was center fielder goes back, jumps up against the wall. His head hits the wall, and it's rolling toward the infield. Or the reliever throwing up in the bullpen.
Yep.
Yep. Mather on the warning track retires Walker. Finally, the inning comes to an end. But they get 3 more, and it's 6-1. Be a question. Last Cub to knock in 100. I was hoping Soriano would hit a 3-run homer and I could say it was him, but it was Derek Lee, 111 back in 2009. Well, I don't think he's officially announced his retirement, but hasn't played this year, and sounds like Derek is done. One of our all-time favorites.
Take a team of 25 guys like Derek Lee and take your chances every year.
Yep. Professionalism, the defense. Still think 05 he should have won the National League MVP. Cubs trail 6-1 here in the 4th.
Time to take a look at our Home Depot doing more on defense. Sometimes you need a little help from your teammates. Hot smash to Josh Vitters. He plays it off his chest. It ricochets right to Starlin Castro. Turns it into an easy out at first base and holds the runner at third on that play.
You know, talking about Derek Lee and remembering the Aramis era here. And then we try to compare young players to established guys. I mean, the next Greg Maddux, the next Derek Jeter. the next two ever. You know, once guys like Derek leave and you look back on their career here, it's probably foolish to try to compare any young player to somebody like that, and just how difficult it is to be that good that consistently for that long. I think Starlin Castro is on that track. You certainly hope Anthony Rizzo is on that track. But guys like Derek and Aramis with his offensive production, these guys are not easy to find when you're looking for 21 and 22-year-olds trying to project what they'll be like when they're 33. I'm sure there were a lot of people along the way who never thought Derek would even make the big leagues, let alone become the player he would become. Lined into right for a base hit.
And it's really the consistency that sets those guys apart from a flash in the pan or a can't miss prospect that somehow misses. It's the consistency, at bat to at bat, game to game, season to season. That's why a guy like David DeJesus will play in the big leagues probably as long as he's physically able to, because he does things right. He gives you consistent performance on a daily basis. Derek Lee was the same way. Ramos Ramirez could be maddeningly frustrating at times because of the way he played the game, but at the end of the day, you look up and he did exactly what you expected him to do.
You know, he's essentially replaced the offensive production of Prince Fielder. And Steele couldn't hold up. .23 homers, 91 RBIs for Aramis. OPS of .893, which is 50 points better than his career mark. Swing and a miss, strike three. That's the first out. Best ticket, season ticket option in the city continues to be the PNC Club of Chicago. Tickets in this exclusive club come with added benefits, including VIP parking. Your guests will enjoy an all-inclusive top-shelf bar and gourmet food and a climate-controlled suite with celebrities and former Cubs. For more info, contact the Premier Sales Team at 773-404-4200 or Cubs.com/Premier. Just like that, the fourth inning in the books. Vitters bounces into a 6-3 double play.
Pedro Alvarez hitting .242 on the season, should be .243. Red Jackson with a real nice effort out there in center field. Clearly trapped that ball on a short hop off the turf, but Cubs were able to get the call. Alvarez gets cheated out of a base hit.
Somebody told me in the clubhouse it's Brett Jackson's job to try to catch it. It's the umpire's job to make the call.
There you go.
Here's Rafael Dolis for Jason Berken. Struggled in his Cubs debut. Only 2 of the 6 runs he allowed, however, were earned because of a couple of Cubs errors. Pedro Alvarez will lead it off.
Strikes, 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 strikes. Dolis had some real issues with that strike zone this season. Heavy power sinker. 30 1/3 innings pitched. He has surrendered 31 base hits, which is not unusual for a sinker ball pitcher. However, 15 strikeouts against 20 walks.
Hit his target that time, and Alvarez fouled it away. On the ground, Barney. What a play. What a throw.
There are so many things that could have gone wrong with this play, and he makes it look routine. He goes about 8 or 10 steps to his left, wheels around off balance, fading away into right field, throws off balance, almost blindly back to first base, right on the money to Anthony Rizzo. Tremendous body control, tremendous field awareness. Can't do it any better than that.
Get that man a gold glove,
please.
BARMES has been an inconsistent offensive performer in his career, but we've seen he's really solid defensively. He turned a couple of double plays today. Career .248 hitter. This is his 3rd team in as many years. Much of his career with the Rockies as Vitters. There you go. Good throw. On the move. 2 away.
Hey, you mentioned Ryan Zimmerman in D.C. We saw him in that 4-game series when the Cubs were there on the last road trip. On the routine balls, it seemed like he had a real issue getting his arm into a good throwing position, but on plays like this where he was on the move and didn't really have time to think about his arm slot, he made perfect throws and quick throws every time. Same thing for Vitters here today. Had too much time on that routine grounder right at him that he threw away at first. That time didn't have time to think.
97 that time from Dolis. I'll tell you, Bob, I think we should come up with a new term. When you take out a loan or a mortgage at a bank, we should call that a Dolis. That'll catch on.
Maybe if you tweet it.
Or would it be better if he said rent a deer than a Dole's?
Oh my.
Yes, you can tell me how corny my jokes are on Twitter. Swing and a miss. And the inning is over. 1, 2, 3 go the Pirates. They lead 6-1. Against a longtime rival, Wandy Rodriguez. Well, this is the first time they've faced him since he's been a Pirate.
Looks a lot the same as he did as a member of the Houston Astros.
Brett Jackson on deck. He'll hit for Dole's. Dave Chappelle deflects that off the glove of Alvarez, and he has himself another hit. He's 2 for 2.
Dave Chappelle not only making a bid for more playing time and a possible spot on this roster next year, but maybe move up in the batting order a little bit. Guy that's filled the leadoff role in the past at the minor league level. Hot smash off the heel of the glove of Pedro Alvarez. BARMES can't recover in time, and Chappelle on with a leadoff base hit.
You know, it's an intriguing point, and I'm curious, and we can ask Dale about it as Jackson will pinch hit. You know, Chappelle hit .331 against lefties at Iowa. He has done a lot of damage against lefties this week. As you look ahead to next year, and as we get into the final couple of weeks of the season, maybe after this stretch here against some playoff contenders, would Dale give Chappelle a start or two against a righty, just to see how he does?
Well, there's never been a better time to do it. I mean, for the Cubs and the situation they're in and what they're looking to the future for, it would seem like this is the time to try anything you think might help you at some point in the future. And if Dave Sapelt can show he can hit right-handers as well as he does left-handers, you've really got something.
That throw gets into center. And Sapelt to third. Boy, an ill-advised play there by Wandy Rodriguez. Yes, he had a play at second, but thought he might take the conservative route there with his team leading by 5. He might have opened up a big inning here.
Yeah, the ball wasn't hit that hard. Little tapper back to the mound. Wandy, a pretty good defender out there on the mound. Everything looks okay. He just throws that ball out into center field. Maybe stepping up the mound could have affected the arc of that throw as it gets away from BARMES, leading him right into the runner. And BARMES deflects it just enough that Neil Walker can't make the play, backing it up.
It's Joe Mather, first and third, nobody out. For a strike. Now you often hear about managers wanting to put their players in the best position to succeed, and I think there are going to be times here down the stretch in which Dale wants to put a guy in a situation to see how he responds, not to put him in a bad spot per se, just to see how Dave Sapelt reacts to facing a tough righty, or Brett Jackson facing a tough lefty.
Or if a pitcher can pitch himself out of a self-created jam. You walk a couple batters in the inning, maybe your defense makes an error behind you. Well, the easy move is to bring in a relief pitcher. But for some of these young pitchers, you want to see how they respond to that adversity. Can they pitch themselves out of jams? Is that something I can look forward to from them in the future? Or should I go ahead and make the pitching change? Well, now's the time to find out.
Backhanded by BARMES. They get one. It'll be an RBI for Mather on the fielder's choice, and it's 6-2.
Tough double play right there for BARMES, moving toward third base, throwing back across his body. Makes a low throw to Neil Walker, who didn't even look to first base. He was going to concede that base runner at first and also concede the run. Just made sure he got an out at second base.
Two and 0. Comes Ray Searage. Which reminds me, great day to grill out, get good searage on those steaks.
I know you were hoping for a real good inning in the fourth from Jason BERKEN, so you could say BERKEN's stock is up. Ray Searage checking on Wandy Rodriguez. Wandy had a little bit of right shoulder fatigue as this game started. He had to high-five all of his teammates heading down to the bullpen, which for the Pirates right now includes 13 relief pitchers, 2 bullpen catchers, and 2 coaches. So by the time Wandy got done high-fiving all them, his right shoulder was sore. Looked like a reception line at a wedding.
A big wedding.
A big wedding.
A strike, 2-1. Well hit, but foul.
Tickets are available for the remainder of the 2012 Cubs season, including the rest of this homestand against division rivals, the Reds, the Cardinals, beginning this Tuesday through Sunday, the 23rd at Wrigley Field. To purchase tickets, visit Cubs.com, call 1-800-THE-CUBS, or visit the Wrigley Field box office. And then we're always looking for ways to generate a little more revenue, especially this time of year. Kids are back in school.
Another chance for Rodriguez. Can you? Oh, safe.
They beat it.
Can't turn two. And Clint Hurdle thought they did.
Don't think so. Once again, Wandy Rodriguez took a little more time. Got himself in a better throwing position that time. Yeah, he's safe. He beat that. All right.
Your money-making idea.
Yeah, you know, this time of year, kids are back in school. There's usually a few tickets available for home Cubs games, and you got the expanded rosters. Sell those seats to the relief pitchers. You know, if you're going to have 13 relief pitchers and 3 bullpen catchers and 2 coaches, sell some of those seats in the front row to the pitchers so they had a place to sit during the game.
Idea. The opposing team, we have X number of seats for your relievers, and once you get past a certain number, you've got to buy it.
Got to buy tickets. Yeah.
Rizzo with a base hit is second of the day. Barney has to stop at second.
Oh, for a long ball here. Wandy Rodriguez has surrendered 18 on the season. The right guy at the plate, couple ducks on the pond. Put the Cubs right back into this ball game.
Toward right, it's going to squeak through, and Barney will score. It's 6-3. RBI number 98 for Soriano.
Cutter got in on his hands at 90 miles per hour, but you see Walker jockeying the runner back towards second base. Yeah, a lot of times if Alfonso Soriano hits a ground ball to the right side, it's going to be a base hit just because teams don't anticipate him ever hitting the ball on the ground to the right side of the field.
All of a sudden, the tying run is at the plate. BARMES able to find the ball. He turned completely around, put the sunglasses on, and made the catch. Cubs get 2.
On Comcast Sportsnet. The Fire's push to the playoff continues as they look to put the burn on the Impact at Toyota Park. Coverage begins at 7 with Chicago Fire pregame live. Fire Impact tonight at 7 on Comcast Sportsnet, fans' best friend.
Here's Jeff Beliveau. He's got a couple in the 5th, down 3. It's called strike to Rodriguez. Well, Clint Hurdle had the quick hook yesterday against with a struggling James McDonald. Bullpen struggled in the aftermath, but today he's going to stick with Wandy Rodriguez a little longer.
I think it's because he's been pitching so well recently. We talked about his last 3 starts, and he's done everything he can do to keep the Pirates in this wild card race. So he's going to be given a little bit more rope than James McDonald was yesterday. McDonald has struggled mightily in the second half of the season.
Grounded to Barney. Francisco Liriano took a no-hitter into the bottom of the 7th against his former team, the Twins. But it went Plouffe. Trevor Plouffe with a 2-run homer. Twins are back in the game, trailing the White Sox 4-2.
It seems like a long time ago now since we played the Twins, but Trevor Plouffe was one of the hottest hitters in the game at that time.
22 home runs for him. How about Liriano? If he had no hit the Twins today, he would have had a no hitter for the Twins against the White Sox, and for the White Sox against the Twins. Wonder if that has ever happened before. I'm going to say no.
It seems like if it had happened, we'd have heard about it.
There's a 1-2. Cross up?
It sure looked like it, but no reason for a cross up with nobody on base given one sign. That was a horrible job of receiving that time by Castillo. I have to believe he was expecting something else in order to catch it like that. But no trip to the mound. I'm not sure what happened there. Yeah, it's not uncommon to cross up a catcher with a runner at second base and you're going through a series of signs and pitcher maybe shakes off once or twice and you see so many fingers at some point one or the other gets confused as to what pitch is coming. But with nobody on base, you just hang down one sign. Here we go. Occasionally you'll be expecting a sinker and the ball will cut, or a guy's supposed to throw a splitter and it never really takes the break. We've seen backup sliders. I mean, it happens that the pitch does something you're not expecting, but that looked like a straight cross up on that pitch before. Bounce a breaking pitch here. Patting that glove on the ground, pointed at the dirt out in front of home plate.
Fair ball. Down far enough. Marte with a triple and a double today.
Command is not just the ability to throw strikes. Command means you can throw the ball out of the strike zone when it's necessary. And clearly ahead in the count that time to Starling Marte, an aggressive swinger. You might get him to chase a pitch out of the zone, but caught too much plate, and Marte off like a shot out of that right-handed batter's box. Loves to showcase his speed on the bases.
I received it. I don't know if you got one. And sometimes we're sent books and magazines, but a copy of the new Baseball Digest. They still actually publish Baseball Digest. It's the 70th anniversary collector's edition. And what's really neat about it, they go back to when Baseball Digest started up in the 40s, and they do decade leaders, batting leaders each decade from the 40s up until the last decade, the early 2000s, pitching leaders as well. And I think as a public service to all the young baseball fans out there, there's one particular bit of trivia that I think everybody should know. And that is win leaders per decade going back to the 40s. This is great for stumping your friends. Even for older fans, a nice cocktail party trivia question. So we start in the 40s, and I'll give you the answer, but we'll move ahead. This is pitching wins leader from 1940 1949. Hal Newhouser, 170 wins. Okay. Do you have a guess on the 1950s? 202 wins. 1950 to 1959. I will give you a hint. The lefty.
Warren Spahn.
Warren Spahn. 202 wins. So Newhouser in the 40s, Spahn in the 50s, the 60s.
Oh.
And he led by 27 wins over Bob Gibson. Juan Marichal.
Oh, there you go.
191 wins in the 60s. Two-two pitch. In the air, not deep. Sapelt and Barney. It's Barney to make the catch. What a play. And to avoid a collision is almost miraculous. Boy, that looked like trouble from the start. He stayed on his feet and made the catch and avoided the sliding Dave Sapelt. How did he do that?
That's the way most teams approach that particular play, that little tweener pop-up. You want the outfielder to get down on the ground with either a dive or a sliding attempt, and the infielder to stay on his feet. Seems to minimize the damage rather than do it the other way with the infielder diving going out to the outfield and the outfielder staying on his feet. But that time Barney didn't care what the outfielder was doing. He never took his eye off that pop-up, made another great running over the shoulder catch.
So they will intentionally walk McCutchen and get to Jones. All right, so we'll finish up quickly. 70s. Hall of Famer. Orioles.
Jim Palmer.
Jim Palmer. 80s. Not a Hall of Famer.
Fernando.
Nope.
Jack Morris.
Jack Morris. 90s. Will be a Hall of Famer.
Randy Johnson.
Greg Maddux.
Greg Maddux.
176. And the 2000s. You know who the wins leader from 2000 to 2009 is? Not Randy Johnson. And it's interesting. I mentioned Warren Spahn had 202 wins. The leader in the last decade, 148 wins. That's how much the game has changed. Andy Pettit. So that's a pretty good trivia question, isn't it? Newhouser, Spahn, Marichal, Palmer, Morris, Maddox, Pettit. Have some fun with that tonight. Pirates lead 2. We go to the bottom of the 6th. 6-3 Pittsburgh. On Sportsnet Central, presented by AT Uvers, coming up tonight at 6:30. Adam Dunn returns to the White Sox lineup. College football, Northwestern in action, so is Illinois. Gail Fisher will have all the highlights and recaps. Sportsnet Central, presented by AT Uvers, tonight at 6:30, only on Comcast Sportsnet. Fans' best friend. Cubs not out of this one yet. They were down 6-1. They got 2 in the 5th. Try to close the gap even more here in the 6th. Hanging curveball, hit the deep center. And the catch by McCutchen. He looks very comfortable out there. He's played at Wrigley a lot. But really, from the time that ball was hit, I thought he was going to catch it. And he did, barely.
Maybe just enough of a crosswind to help knock that one down. But McCutchen took one quick look at the warning track, knew exactly where he was on the field, was ready to jump into the vines if necessary, but able to make the catch flat-footed on the warning track. Sigh of relief from Wandy Rodriguez.
A couple of feet, and that ball's gone. Well, the bad news is Vitters has already hit into 2 double plays. The good news is he can't in this at bat. We always look at the glass half full.
That's right.
Late swing by Josh, fouled off. 2-1. Base hit into right. The red hot Sapelt was 2 for 2 with a run. Well, as we near the end of the season, let's take a look at some of the statistical leaders in each league. We're going to do home run leaders today, going into action this afternoon. Ryan Braun with 38. Giancarlo Stanton, even though he missed some time with an injury, with 34. Jay Bruce, who will be here Tuesday, has 33. What a year for Ryan Braun. After a very controversial offseason for him.
And not to take anything away from Ryan Braun and Jay Bruce, but both of those guys play in ballparks that are very conducive to the long ball. Giancarlo Stanton down there in Miami, you got to put a charge on it to get it out of that new ballpark.
McCutchen on the move, makes a catch. Vitters heads back to first, and he's in. Let's go over to the American League. Mentioned Adam Dunn back in the White Sox lineup. Josh Hamilton leads the way with 42, and what a year for Edwin Encarnacion. He's got 40. Curtis Granderson with 38. And Miguel Cabrera putting together an MVP type campaign. Anthony Recker will hit in the pitcher spot. Jared Hughes and Tony Watson are up. .40 homers, 102 RBIs for Encarnacion of the Blue Jays. I think the other key, Bob, a career high 74 walks, which has led to a .380 on base percentage for Edwin Encarnacion. He was an intriguing guy with the Reds. His career didn't really take off till he went to Toronto. How many homers would he have hit this year at Great American Ballpark? For a guy with 40 home runs, he has 74 walks, 86 strikeouts. That's really good. Expect a guy to strike out a lot more with that many blasts. Vitters at first, 2 outs, a 2-2 to Recker, swung on and missed, and the inning is over. We head to the 7th, 6-3 Pirates. improve as they smooth out the infield dirt after the 3rd and the 6th.
Well, it worked for Rafael Dolis back in the 5th, so we're going to try it again. Strikes, 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 strikes. Alberto Cabrera in 13 1/3 has walked 11 opposing hitters, although he has punched out 18, which tells you when he throws it over the plate, he's very effective.
Kerry Muscat, who covers the Cubs for MLB.com, pointing out that Alberto's mother, Maria, is here in from the Dominican Republic. And it's the first time she's going to see her son pitch in the big leagues.
Oh, how great.
Big day for the Cabreras. Walker probably just trying to get his timing down after missing over 2 weeks with the back situation. Pinch hit yesterday, struck out right-handed. And he's gone 0 for 3 so far today. When the Pirates were at their best earlier this summer, they were getting fantastic starting pitching. And the 1-2 punch offensively was McCutchen, Walker. Those two guys were really carrying the team. Right center, Mather has it. Waist high grab for the out.
That's the unfortunate thing about getting hurt at this time of year. You just don't have time to recover. You don't have time to sit on the disabled list for 15 days and go out on a rehab assignment. Just try to get as near 100% as you're ever going to be and go out there and do the best you can. Pirates really need Walker to return to form.
Barney again. What a day. That's the second time he's robbed Alvarez.
Gets to his feet so quickly. I mean, it once again turns into a routine play. A second baseman going 5 or 6 steps to his left, diving on the outfield grass. And they throw him out by 4 steps at first base.
Last 3 innings, he's made a Gold Glove type play each inning. Outside, 2 balls, no strikes.
Those are a couple of tough takes by Clint BARMES. Both of those pitches appear to be right at the knees, which is exactly where you want Cabrera to pitch. Keep that sinker down low, cross the knee level, get ground balls.
Don't get riled up.
Oh, I'm not riled. I'm over it. I've accepted the fact that, like every other human being, umpires are imperfect.
Trouble. Gone. Barmes with a home run.
Now I'm upset.
7-3. That's his 7th of the year.
So much of this game is how aggressive can you be as a hitter. Alberto Cabrera threw back-to-back strikes and was behind in the count 2-0. Missed with a pitch up and in, which was called a strike. That whole at bat was just backwards right there. But in a 2-1 count, he's going to take a much more aggressive swing than he would have in a 1-2 count. not their fault they're doing a job that they probably shouldn't be doing. We have the technology.
2 strikes on Rod Barajas. Waiting on the Captain Morgan's 7th inning stretch. Keith Moreland from the radio booth. Josh Harrison on deck. Would hit for Rodriguez. Appears to be done after 6 innings. Barajas strikes out. Castillo will fire to first. Keith Moreland to conduct the stretch.
Guest conductor for Take Me Out to the Ball Game, former Cubs great and current WGN radio broadcaster Keith Moreland.
All right, guys. Let me hear you. I need some help here. A 1, a 2, a 3. Take me out to the ball. Take me out with the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks. I don't care if I get back for its root for the. If they don't win, it's a shame. Oh, it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the ball game. Hey, we need some runs.
So the Pirates, trying to end a 7-game skid, will turn it over to their bullpen. Left-hander Tony Watson is on.
60 games this season for Watson, 46 2/3 innings pitched. You see he's striking out about a batter per inning, only 36 hits surrendered. Been really tough on lefties, holding them to a 205 average.
Top of the Cubs batting order with Joe Mather to start it. At the end of the bat, foul. Barney on deck. And Anthony Rizzo. There it is. That's low. Are you interested in the agreement Pete Rose signed on August 23rd, 1989? 5-page document that sealed his fate. Signatures of A. Bart Giamatti and the Commissioner of Baseball, Deputy Commissioner Fay Vincent, also signed it as he was banned from baseball. It is going to go on the auction block.
Is there an estimated price tag on this thing?
Let's see. It says a reserve price has not yet been set, according to Darren Rovell of ESPN.com. But word is that they think it'll be more than the highest price ever paid for a baseball document, which was the 1919 contract. Babe Ruth getting sent from the Red Sox to the Yankees. That was $996,000. So I guess they assume they'll make at least $1 million as Mather strikes out. $225-page report. The Dowd report was instrumental in causing Pete Rose to be banned from baseball.
I think I'll pass.
Okay. The other details of the story, according to Darren Rovell, Pete Rose, I guess, met with the guy putting it up for auction. Let's see, Ken Golden of Golden Auctions. There were 2 signed copies, according to Pete Rose. His copy belonged to somebody else. So Rose connected Golden with that person, I'm quoting from the article, who consigned it to his auction under the condition of confidentiality. So I don't know who's going to make money off this, but it's going to be a lot.
Well, I think most baseball fans have made up their mind one way or the other about Pete Rose, but I'll tell you what, it's a shame he's not in the Hall of Fame just because of the way he played this game. So many years, maximum effort guy. Every day he stepped on the field, loved every minute he was on a baseball field. Unfortunately, for some people who weren't that familiar with his playing career, they'll only remember him as the guy who left the game in disgrace and is banned from the Hall of Fame.
That last part you mentioned, that's Pete's fault.
Yeah, oh yeah, no doubt. No doubt.
You know, oftentimes it's not the actual crime, it's the aftermath of it. And you just kind of wish he had fessed up publicly a lot sooner. And I think if that had happened, gosh, 2 decades ago, he might be in the Hall of Fame. So Barney walks. Here's Rizzo. Rocketed foul.
I mean, just playing against Pete Rose, you knew that at least one guy on that other team was going to do everything in his power to beat you. Whether it was swinging the bat, running the bases, making a defensive play, exhorting his teammates to be better than maybe they were that particular night. You knew that going into it, and you felt like you had to elevate your game to compete against him. I can only imagine the impact he had on teammates. We talk about it all the time when you see a guy, for example, Alfonso Soriano, doing the pregame prep work that he's done this year, the physical work, the mental effort that he puts in every day to become a better ball player, and you see those results, it's got to drive the rest of your teammates to want to be better also.
Final thing with the document is just make a copy of it. Need the actual.
Yeah, I'm sure it's online somewhere. Just print it. Pick your font.
We'll try to turn it here. Walker to BARMES. Looked like Walker had just a tiny bit of trouble getting that ball out of his glove, and that upset the timing of BARMES.
Yeah, that in the location of the feed throw. Right there, he just had a little trouble getting the grip. Had that throw been to BARMES' left a little bit, of course, it would have led him right into the sliding runner, but he might have had a better opportunity to get the ball into and out of his glove and possibly complete that double play.
That'll be it for Watson with Soriano coming up. Well, yesterday it was Jared Hughes who gave up the home run to Castro. He'll try to redeem himself today. The Honda call to the pen. We'll be back. Jared Hughes was part of that 8-pitcher day yesterday for the Pirates, and he hit Soriano. First batter he faced. Then he gave up the 3-run homer to Castro before getting Steve Clevenger in a ground out. Yesterday the Pirates tied their team record by using 8 pitchers in a 9-inning game. It's the third to be used today in a called strike. Showing you the league home run leaders. Just over 2 weeks to go in the season. Let's look at the Cubs home run leaderboard. I think Alfonso Soriano will win the Cubs home run title.
Somebody's going to have to get real hot to catch him. Like a homer a day.
Brian LaHare with very little playing time here over the last month or so. Well, a home run here. A couple of nice round numbers. Would be number 30, and he would pick up RBIs 99 and 100. Two and two. Chris LaRue up for the Pirates. And Soriano went around to end the inning. Cubs come up empty in the 7th. They trail 7-3 as we head to the 8th. App for your iPhone, iPad, Android, and Windows Mobile. Get live audio, pitch tracking, video highlights, and more. Text at bat to 31826 or visit Cubs.com for details. Okay then. Alberto Cabrera continues on here in the 8th inning. He'll face a pinch hitter, Brock Holt. 32,777 paid crowd. Gorgeous Saturday afternoon. Rough day for Jason Berken in his Cubs debut. He went 4 innings, gave up 8 hits, 6 runs allowed, 2 were earned. Dolis and Beliveau with scoreless innings. Cabrera gave up a run on a homer in the 7th, and now working here in the 8th. Sinkers low, 2-0. Where do guys with real heavy sinkers like Dolis, where should they aim to get a called strike? If you aim at the knees, chances are that pitch is going to be too low. Outside, 3-0.
For me, I always felt if you aim at the top part of the catcher's chest protector, just below his mask and the throat guard, and let the ball do what it does. If you're commanding it well on a given day, maybe you scoot it down a little bit farther, maybe a little farther toward the outside corner, but you have to trust that that movement is going to be enough to get the batter to hit the ball. You don't have to place it. You just have to get it up there close enough to the strike zone to get him to swing at it.
Leadoff man on. It brings up Marte, who's reached 3 times.
If you watch a veteran catcher behind the plate working with a power sinker ball pitcher, you'll rarely see him move out of the middle of the plate. Get those shin guards squared on the inside and outside corner. Give him a nice big target about mid-thigh to the hitter right in the middle of the plate. Let him start his sinker right there, and then the movement should put it down around the bottom of the zone, and especially against a right-handed hitter, somewhere near the inside corner of the plate. That's where you're going to get a lot of weak contact. As I said, if you prove you can hit that spot consistently, you can throw the ball over the plate. Now maybe you start to move a little bit to the corners when you're ahead in the count. And you'd be amazed how many times you hear that advice from your pitching coach from the bench. You yell out to the catcher, sit right down the middle. Set up right down the middle. Seems like a simple thing, but especially if you start the game with a control pitcher. Say, for example, Travis Wood is your starting pitcher, and he's got his stuff, and he's hitting his spots, and you're moving on the corners to accommodate those pitches. And now you bring in a guy like Rafael Dolis or Alberto Cabrera, a young kid that's not quite as sharp with his command. Just set up down the middle.
Smith's done 6 in a row to start this inning. That's the thing about with a good sinker is you can get one swing at a hard ground ball to short, and all of a sudden 2 outs. Foul. To Brooks baseball, he actually throws his sinker harder than his four-seamer. Sinker over 95 miles an hour. The straighter four-seam fastball, which is usually a faster pitch for most guys than the sinker at 94.6. Runner was going, and Marte bunts and is thrown out. We will get a sacrifice. So runner at second with 1 out.
You almost wonder if there was a sign missed somewhere along the line there. You had the runner in motion, but yet Marte put down a sac bunt to the right side. If the hitter knows that runner is running on the pitch, that's when it might be the right time to bunt the ball to third base. No problem for Barney. And because you bunt that ball to third base, it forces Josh Vitters to come in and make the play. Starlin Castro has already broken to second base to cover on the steal attempt. If you're Brock Holt, you just round the bag at second and keep going. It's actually a two-base sacrifice bunt in effect if you've got that runner in motion on a bunt attempt.
Slider strike.
It's one of those situations we were talking about earlier, Len, where maybe you let Cabrera go ahead and face one of the best hitters in the National League with a runner at third base and 2 outs just to see how he responds to the situation. Back-to-back sliders here to start the sequence. First one for a called strike and then one bounced in the dirt. It'd be very easy just to go ahead and walk McCutchen, even though it's a righty-on-righty matchup, and take your chances with Garrett Jones in the on-deck circle. I think perhaps Dale and Chris Bosio want to see if Alberto Cabrera can go to his slider in a clutch situation, because that figures to be the pitch they're going to attack McCutchen with. Third consecutive slider in this at bat. 2 of them ended up in the dirt. Nice block that time by Castillo. It's like another slider. And you get away with a hanger like that for a 2-1 pitch. I mean, in the back of his mind, I'm sure Andrew McCutchen's expecting a sinker at some point in this at bat. So 2-1, he's geared fastball, gets a high slider for a called strike.
Nice. On a slider, stuck with that pitch. Picks up his second strikeout, still 7-3. Replaces Travis Snider in right. And veteran right-hander Jason Grilli sees 6 losses. Back-to-back losses last weekend against the Cubs at PNC Park.
Throwing more fastballs than at any time in his career is Jason Grilli. Scrapped his curveball and changeup completely. Just a fastball slider pitcher now. And as I mentioned, using a lot of fastballs. 72% of the time he's throwing heater this season.
Called strike on Castro. Oh, 0-2 on the slider.
It's not unusual at all in the game nowadays to see a relief pitcher come in out of the bullpen and work out of the stretch all the time. That's what they're accustomed to. Many times they come into the game, there's runners on base, but I've never seen a relief pitcher check for the imaginary runner at first like Jason Grilli just did on that last pitch. Hypnotizes himself for about 5 seconds before looking in for his sign. Went into the set position and actually gave a couple of looks over to first base before delivering the last pitch.
Hisanori Takahashi up for the Pirates. That will get in there. Castro almost threw his bat at that pitch, and he's coming around second, and he stumbles, and he will be safe as he gets back in time. Let's hope he's all right. Felt like Keith Jackson stumbling, bumbling. He's okay.
Great piece of defensive hitting. Just flips that ball down the right field line. Had to break up his steps in order to hit second base. Very awkwardly stumbled around the bag, but able to get back safely with the leadoff double. Unfortunately, he didn't twist an ankle or hyperextend a knee or something on that play.
Something to be said for falling gracefully, and that's about as well as you can trip. High to Castillo.
In the past, I would have said he started to slide into third way too soon.
And one. Right down Main Street. Ball and 2 strikes. Valbuena on deck to hit for Vitters. Sox held on. Matt Thornton had to bail out Addison Reed in the 9th. 5-3 the final as White Sox beat the Twins. How about 8 runs combined on 7 hits in that game? Fouled back. Right field. It will drop foul on a couple of feet.
We watched Jason Grilli in Pittsburgh in that last road trip, and we've seen him here in this series. Gets himself prepared. He steps up on the rubber, and then he just stares down at the ground toward the front of the mound. Every hitter, every pitcher has something they do to try to get their mind in that place where they feel like they can execute what they need to do. I wonder if he is so far in the zone that if a hitter just taking off from a base, if you could steal a base while he's hypnotizing himself there.
Swing and a miss. Long battle. And really wins it. 1 out.
Or maybe get him to balk, you know. Hard slider that time from Grilli after a series of mid-90s fastballs. More the change of speed than the actual break that got Castillo out that time.
Luis Valbuena for Bitters.
It may take a while to set up and get ready to throw the pitch, but once he comes to a set position and delivers that ball to home plate, Jason Grilli has a very fast delivery, a very fast arm. That's why he was able to throw some fastballs right down the middle of the plate against Wellington Castillo, and well, he just couldn't pull the trigger.
There's another one. 1-1. Remember his dad, Steve, was for the Tigers and Blue Jays. Jason was born in Royal Oak, Michigan, suburb of Detroit. Which is Seton Hall, 4th overall pick in the '97 draft. The Giants.
We just came from Houston, where Craig Biggio was touting Seton Hall University. He also went to Seton Hall.
Base hit, rolled into right center. Castro's going to score to make it 7-4. Luis Valbuena off the bench with an RBI single.
Third pinch hit off the bench for Luis Valbuena this year. Clean ringing single back up the middle of the field. Keep the line moving.
So Ray Searage on his way out signaled, I believe, to the bullpen to get a couple of guys up.
Yeah, backup catcher Eric Fryer also ran down. I'm not sure if they're having some issues with the phone in that first base dugout or first base bullpen, but Fryer ran down, said something, and now we're seeing all kinds of activity in that Buccos bullpen.
Dale has some left-handed options in this spot. He's going to stick with Dave Chappelle. He's 2 for 3 on the afternoon. It's Justin Wilson now, the left-hander, joining LaRue. What now? Joe West.
As a general rule, when one bullpen phone goes out, the other team's asked to turn theirs off just so there's no competitive imbalance. I'm not sure if that's what we're talking about here right now, but Joe will take care of it. Don't worry about it.
Well, I knew he wasn't going to ask for the lights to be turned on. Had that happen a few times with Joe. Pelt pops it up. Barajas dropped it. Circling in foul territory, and he'll be charged with an error, so Sapelt will have another chance.
That close. Right up near the webbing of the glove. Had the wind working against him, the sun. Knew he was getting fairly close to the bricks back there behind home plate. Hoping for some help from Garrett Jones, but Barajas hung with an air. Make it hurt.
Jones makes a catch on top of one of the cameras at the end of the dugout. He kind of bails out his catcher there. What a play by Jones.
Really nice play by the Pirates first baseman to stay with that. Once again, he knew he was getting close to that dugout over there. It's a camera lens right in the chest, but able to make the play.
David DeJesus pinch hitting now for Cabrera. Down the middle. Coming up in a little bit. Nationals are at the Braves. Edwin Jackson, Tommy Hanson. In that matchup, Detroit's at Cleveland. Anibal Sanchez and Justin Masterson. White Sox with a 1.5 lead over the Tigers at the moment. Another 3:05 start. Tampa Bay at the Yankees. James Shields and Ivan Nova. Orioles and Yanks tied atop the East. The Rays are 3 back. Swing and a miss to end the inning. Cubs get 1. Nice to be on top of the field down there, except for right man on the street a chance to show off their sports knowledge and fill up their tank. Follow us on Twitter, Gas Money CSN, for info on how you can test your Chicago sports trivia on the show. Gas Money, presented by Honda. Tomorrow at 7, only on Comcast Sportsnet. Albuena knocked in a run off the bench. An 8th inning single. He'll stay in and play third. And Chicago area native Michael Bowden try to keep the Pirates right where they are, with his team trailing by 3.
Last pitch 4 days ago in Houston on that last road trip. Did give up 1 hit in his inning of work, but struck out a couple of Astros batters. Did not allow a run or a walk.
Jones foul tips. 1-2. Kick and the offering.
Well, and looking back to that final at bat for the Pirates in the top half of the 8th inning, when Alberto Cabrera went after Andrew McCutchen with all sliders. I think that was one of those moments, and we talked about it at the time. Let's see if the kid can do it if he has to. Far and away his bread and butter pitch is that sinker. Strike 3 right on the outside corner to Garrett Jones, but there will be situations in a game where you're going to need to throw that slider not only in the strike zone, but try to lead the hitter out of the strike zone. And I think that was a big step forward for Cabrera today to be able to do that against one of the best hitters in the National League. Manager has a better idea now what he's capable of doing, and Alberto Cabrera has a little more confidence should that situation come up again.
So 1 out, and it's Neil Walker. 0 for 5 in the series. Rizzo to the bag unassisted. Take a look at the probables for Game 3 tomorrow. Left-hander Jeff Locke against righty Chris Volstad. And then on Monday, Kevin Correa will oppose Travis Wood here on CSN. How about the Pirates, Bob? They would have gotten here Wednesday from Cincinnati. So Wednesday night, Thursday off, day game Friday, day game Saturday, day game Sunday, night game Monday. So they have 4 nights off in Chicago.
They need that night game on Monday. Got to sleep sometime.
We'll have the whole Red Series here on CSN, and then game 1 of the Cardinals-Cubs series next weekend. We've done that sort of weekend once or twice. We did it in Colorado once. Get in on Wednesday, have Thursday off, play Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then Monday night. By the end of that weekend, no matter where you are and how great a city it is, it feels like you've been there for 2 weeks.
Yep. Feels like you should be able to vote.
Three and two. Outside for ball 4. Former Cub Chris Carpenter got his first major league win last night for the Red Sox. He was sent to the Red Sox as part of the compensation for Theo Epstein leaving Boston for the Cubs. Popped up by BARMES, right side of the infield. Sun in issue. But RIZZO makes a grab, and we'll go to the bottom of the ninth. Joel Hanrahan coming on, top of the order for the Cubs.
Darwin Barney has put on a clinic today with the leather at second base. A nice ranging play far to his left. Really nice catch of a pop-up out in shallow right field, avoiding Dave Chappelle. Getting the ball back into the infield quickly, and then ho-hum, just another diving play to his left and a perfect throw on to first for the out.
See if he can pitch in on offense as the Cubs are down 3 with only 3 outs to go. In fact, he's already reached a couple of times as Gabby Sanchez comes in to play first. And Joel Hanrahan, well, we haven't seen him against the Cubs in a while in a save spot. Cubs swept the series at PNC Park last weekend and won yesterday. So he'll try to get his 35th of the year.
Big time punch out pitcher, has a really good fastball in the mid to upper 90s, a hard slider in the high 80s, approaching 90 miles per hour at times with that slider.
Fastball strike to Mather. 0 for 4 officially, but he has reached on a fielder's choice, stolen a base, knocked in a run. And that's it. You've seen his whole repertoire. Fastball, slider. Shallow center. McCutchen can't get there. It gets by him, and Mather will head to second. It's a double for Joe Mather.
McCutchen gets into no man's land. He realizes he was too close to that one hopper to block it. Tries to lay it out to the left side. Tabata very late in getting over there to back up that play. I think he's so used to watching Andrew McCutchen make all the plays in center field. He was kind of caught by surprise that that one got by.
Early in the game, Barney's thinking shoot the ball to right. At the very least, I make a productive out, but that is not the spot here. He's trying to get on base. You don't want to give up an out for a base. Down 3 in the 9th. 2-0. Late on that heater, 2-1. Pirates haven't won a game in a while. A 6-3 win over Houston last week. Since then, they've dropped 7 in a row. Three and 2.
Barney probably chasing ball 4 right there up out of the zone, but Joel Hanrahan doesn't give you a whole lot of time to react. If you think it's close to the edge of the strike zone, you're obliged to try to foul it off, stay alive in the at bat, or take it and take your chances.
Takes it for ball 4, and the tying run will come up. With nobody out. Well, Joel Hanrahan hasn't had a save opportunity in a month. August 17th, his last save at St. Louis. About it is you don't have save chances for a while. Then when you do get one, there's even more pressure on you to convert. His team having dropped 7 straight. So down to a knee. 1-1.
.97-mile-per-hour fastball down there at the bottom of the strike zone. Nice cut by Anthony Rizzo. Hard to believe he was out in front of that pitch at 97.
Bounced way out in front of home plate.
Like that one may have gotten up underneath the mask of Rod Barajas. Hit way out there in the dirt, and Cardinals sin for a catcher. Never turn your head to the right or left. The protection's in front of your face. Barajas looks up and to the left right here, and the ball gets up underneath and catches him in the throat. Ouch. Always try to put your nose on the baseball. That's where all the protection is in the front of your face. As soon as you turn your head to the side, you're exposing some very vulnerable areas.
2-2 the count on Rizzo. Here it comes. Popped into right. Tabata, who just came into the game, will drift in. Runners holding. Another home run threat. And Soriano, 29 on the year. Much happening for Alfonso against Hanrahan. 0 for 5 with 3 strikeouts. Case, we continue on. It's Carlos Marmol. Base hit into left. Mather will score. 7-5. Now Soriano represents the tying run. The winning run will come to the plate.
Well, since he does represent the tying run, Tony Campana is going to take over at first base. 97-mile-per-hour fastball once again, this time right in the middle of the plate. And Soriano bangs it into left field for an RBI base hit.
99 knocked in. Starlin Castro takes ball 1. I said it, there are not a lot of secrets with Joel Hanrahan. A lot of heat. Everything hard, even the slider in the upper 80s. Center field. McCutchen just in front of Tabata. Barney tagging. His run doesn't mean anything. It's Campana at first. That's the key guy. 2 outs.
You mentioned Tabata just into the ball game as part of a double switch last inning. McCutchen yelling him off that ball in right center. Actually a much easier play for Tabata, being a right-handed thrower coming on at that angle, but Andrew McCutchen, the center fielder, the all-star, he's the captain of the outfield.
All right, now you think about Campana. I mean, Barney tagging, what that does, it opens up second base for Tony. Do you send him here if you feel like the environment is ripe for a stolen base?
Absolutely. I think it's always ripe when Tony Campana is on first base. Rod Barajas behind the dish, we've documented in the past, has had some issues throwing out base runners this year. 4 of 65.
Big lead by Tony, and there he goes.
Yeah, not even going to throw.
Nope. Just conceded that he would go 1-0. Hanrahan is trying to get the batter at this point.
See, that was more defensive indifference in my eyes than a lot of the defensive indifference that are called. Nobody moved defensively for the Pirates.
It's good range for a catcher.
Yeah, it really is. We've talked about that in the past. It's easy to identify range in an outfielder or an infielder, but for a catcher, it's all done in that little area back there behind home plate. And this is Rod Barajas showing his range on a pitch over in the left-handed batter's box.
Three and 0. Valbuena on deck. They are loaded. Bases loaded for Luis Valbuena. Ray Searage coming out. Saw Clint Hurdle on the phone. Pirates just hanging on by their fingernails. And the home plate umpire Sam Holbert comes out to break up this meeting. Pat Listash went about halfway to second to chat briefly with Tony Campana. I wonder, Bob, if he talked to him about a possible pass ball or wild pitch to say, look, make sure Barney doesn't stop. We don't want the game to end at second base.
You really have to keep an eye on that runner ahead of you. As you said, on a pass ball, wild pitch, Barney may start down the line and decide to stop if he can't make it.
And he's got to be 1,000% sure he can make it. You can't make the final out with the tying run behind you. One strike to Valbuena. Base hit to the outfield will absolutely tie the game with Campana at second. And the 0-1 misses. And I'm sure Pirate infielders also reminding themselves and each other to knock anything down, even if they can't get the out, to try to keep Campana from scoring. One inside, 2 balls and a strike. Hanrahan looks rusty, and the Cubs have been nice and patient here in this inning.
Yeah, borderline pitch right there, but he missed his spot from one side of the plate to the other. You're rarely going to get the benefit of the doubt on a borderline pitch if that's the case.
Bases loaded, 2 outs, 7-5 Pirates. The pitch missed again. 3-1. He's already walked 2 in the inning. And the fans are on their feet. Ball 4, a 1-run game. Bases still loaded for Dave Sapelt. Barney's in. Valbuena gets an RBI.
Well, now you have to think about running for Wellington Castillo at second base, representing the potential winning run in the ball game. You had a guy that can't do anything else right now to help the ball club, so Jeff Samardzija is going to take over at second base as the pinch runner for Wellington Castillo.
Two in, 3 on, and it's a 1-run game. Campana at third, tying run. Samardzija at second, the winning run. Dave Sapelt fouls off.
Well, Dave Sapelt has shown in his short time here at the major league level with the Cubs, he's a real good high ball hitter and got the pitch he was looking for right there from Hanrahan. Fastball right at the top of the zone, had a good swing on it, but fouled it straight back.
Hand to the belt. Here's the 0-1. Ball 1 strike. He doesn't have any more cushion. He walks Sapelt, the game's tied. Threw that one over everybody. 2-1.
Fortunately, Dave Sapelt's not very tall. Easy for him to duck underneath that fastball. It was well over his head, but I don't know how Barajas got to that one.
He just saved the game by catching that pitch. The outside, that's a huge strike for Hanrahan. Instead of 3-1, it's 2-2.
Really changes the entire at bat right there at the edge of the zone, very top reach of the zone. Now you got a battle.
This will be pitch number 34 for Hanrahan coming up. Time called. The ball got out of the Cubs bullpen.
If you're the runner at third base, Tony Campana, you take your secondary lead with the idea that every pitch is going to be in the dirt. I'm going to give myself a chance to score that tying run.
Swing and a miss to end the ball game as Joel Hanrahan ekes out a save. The Pirates eke out their first win in their last 8 tries. Now the Cubs took them to the brink today, but fall a run short. The final, Pirates 7 and the Cubs 6. Stuck with the heat.
That's that fastball away. Tough to take, tough to hit. Hanrahan blows it right by Sapelt for strike 3.
So for Bob and our entire CSN crew, Len Casper saying so long from Wrigley Field. The final score, the Pirates 7. The Cubs 6. Please join us Monday 6:30 for the 4th and final game of this series. That's pregame time here on CSN. In-game scoring provided by ScorePad. You've been watching Cubs baseball on Comcast Sportsnet, now part of the NBC Sports Group.